Welcome to Seltzer Squad, the podcast about staying sober in the city, with your hosts, Kate Zander and Jess Valentine.
Hey, Kate, what's another way that the squad can help support the podcast?
In addition to just listening or signing up to our Patreon, y'all can shop our online merch store, which has a variety of different sober treats, from mugs to sweatshirts to tanks and tees.
Everything.
All of our signature sayings are all over our sober merch. So visit seltzersquadshop.com and check it out.
Treat yourself to something sober while supporting the pod.
Jess, what do people do if they want more Seltzer Squad?
Oh, well, it's pretty easy. All they have to do is become a Patreon.
Patreon? A patron? A patrona?
A patron on our Patreon.
If you want to be a Princess FOMO, you'll get early access to our episodes every Wednesday instead of Friday. If you want to subscribe to our middle tier, Former Hot Mess, you will receive the bonus monthly audio episode and early access to episodes. And if you indeed are the slickest bitch around, you will get early access, monthly bonus episodes, and you will be able to see all of our episodes now in video format.
This is truly a labor of love, and we want to keep it going. So help support us at patreon.com/seltzersquad. Hey, Kate.
What's up, dude? Jess?
I feel like it has been forever.
It has.
Do we always say that?
Jess and I only talk talk. What do you think, every 6 weeks? I guess every month.
Yeah, once a month. Once a month. We always record on the last Wednesday of the month.
Yeah.
But because we have the podcast, we try to not talk too much, because we don't want to give anything away.
Yeah.
And so basically, for the most part, the squad is learning things about each of us at the same time
the
that
other
we're
person
learning
does,
things.
yeah. If something major happens, I'll send you a recap text, and I'll be like, but tell you more when we talk.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. I have a couple housekeeping things that I just want to talk to the squad about, because guys, iTunes has put us into 100 episode jail, and I talked to Nat about it. We don't know what to do. It seems like so if you guys are new here, or if you're not new here, it seems like everybody is always asking us, how come I can't see the rest of your episodes? And for a while, we didn't really understand what was going on. And it seems like iTunes will only hold 100 episodes for us. So right now, if this is episode 136, 38 of them are not available for people that listen on iTunes. On Spotify, they're there. On other platforms, they're there. On our website, they're there. So Nat looked into it, and she said randomly people have this issue where it will only give you 100 episodes. And as you know, Jess, we're close to 1 million downloads. And so anything that we're missing out on, and people wanting to listen to old episodes or download old episodes, this hurts us. So I guess my housekeeping thing is, if anyone out there is listening and understands how to fix this, please send us an email, because we can't figure it out. We looked on the forums. It just seems like a glitch. And then reaching out to Apple customer service and support, they don't give a fuck. So
yeah,
it just sucks.
I know a lot of people. I've answered some emails or DMs or whatever, and I just tell them to go to Spotify.
Yeah, me too. Or our website, because I don't even know what to tell them what happened. It's iTunes hates us, and they just hide these.
It's also annoying because it's we're trying to get bigger on the iTunes chart so that more people can find us, because for me, that's, I don't know, where do you typically listen to your podcasts?
I'm pretty exclusive to Spotify, but I still have the podcast app.
Yeah, same. I realize that I now tend to do Spotify.
Yeah.
I think it's just because when I'm driving, I'm either going to do music or a podcast.
Yes.
So I just open up Spotify.
Same.
Yeah. But yeah, we're definitely still on Spotify. So thank you to the Spotify gods who haven't put us in jail for making more content. How
we're very
stupid
close
is that?
to 1 million downloads, and I'm so proud of us, and this makes me mad.
I know. It's really stupid, especially when people want that beginning content, because
we get a lot of binge listeners that are what happened to episode 23? And I'm I don't fucking know. We can see it on our end. We see that it's there. We don't know why it's not on iTunes.
I mean, yeah, when I start a podcast, I tend to start at the beginning.
Mm-hmm. If I like it, if
weird.
I listen and I'm like, oh, I'm into this, then I want to go back to the beginning. So I don't know. Anyway, that's my like one shout out, and my others like that I slid in my second bookkeeping thing, which is like we're almost at 1 million downloads. This is major for us, and it feels weird. That's a weird
I have no
milestone.
Concept of anything, so I'm like, whatever. So
congrats to us one day.
Yay! Soon.
But anyway, how are you on this?
I'm good.
Spicy hot June
It's so
day?
hot. Kate was gonna actually come to my studio and record with me today, and her car's in the shop, and it's a heat wave out there, and I didn't realize that you were even considering taking the fucking subway, and I was like, no.
Well, I was like, I guess I could Uber, but that would be like $150.
No, that's so stupid. Like, I'll just come to you, or you'll just come to me next month or whatever. Like, that's so silly. I was really excited to see you, but also like, I went outside this morning. Like, I always go outside with my coffee.
Me too.
Because I work like in a dungeon. It's like no windows. So I try to get my vitamin D in the morning, and it was like, it's so gross out. Like, I'm growing sunflowers, and Cameron's like, did you go look at your sunflowers? Because there's like the flower part is there. I'm like, I said, bitch, it's too hot out there. Like, I'm staying in the shade. So I would have felt really bad for you if you were like lugging all your podcast gear.
I thought about it, and I'm like, well, we did downsize, but it's still going to be like, TJ's like, well, you can take a suitcase. And I'm like, no, I'm not bringing a fucking suitcase on the subway today. Like, nope.
TJ was in my dream last night.
Really?
Yeah, I guess it's just because I was seeing you. Well, seeing you today. Yeah, TJ and my friend Jenny, who I went to high school with and worked at Steve Madden with, because I tattooed another old coworker from Steve Madden. So Jenny and TJ were in my dream last night. Like, nothing exciting happened or anything like that, but he was just like there for a second. I'm like, okay.
I love that.
So that's funny and weird.
What else is new?
What's new with you? I mean, I got stuff, but
I have like not it. Well, yeah. I think my other thing that I wanted to talk about is I've been listening to Glennon's We Can Do Hard Things podcast. So I'm a huge Glennon Doyle fan. I feel like the big sisters have entered the chat because they kind of talk about a lot of the same things that we do, but ours is more sobriety focused, but obviously Glennon's sober. So I, with my sister and with a couple of my friends, we've just been talking about like how interwoven all this stuff is. They talk about anxiety and overall. And so Abby Wambach's wife, she's a writer.
I don't know who that is.
Yes, you do. She's the women's soccer star with the bleach blonde hair. You know who she is if you saw a picture of her. But she's married to a writer who is sober, and she has like I guess like we're like fanatics. I would consider myself a Glennon fanatic. So
I mean, I've heard that name, but only because of you. And I just like pretend. Sometimes I just pretend to like go along, and then I'm like, I should probably at some point be like, I don't know this person, because if I don't know, I'm sure some people in the squad don't know.
So I listened to her because she was on Holly's podcast, Holly and Laura, when they were on Home. Glennon was a guest. Listened to Glennon, read Glennon's books, and became like hooked on her story because she was bulimic, got pregnant, got sober. Fast forward, obviously now she's married to Abby Wambach. A lot has happened, but she has like a very easy way of breaking down hard concepts of life. And so her and her sister, she talks about her sister all the time in her books, and her sister started this podcast. And so it's nice to hear the sister talk because we hear about her, but we don't ever hear her side of the story. But yeah, they recently had one on addiction where, Glennon obviously was addicted to drugs and alcohol, and the sister kind of gave her perspective of what that was like, and, talking about the boundaries that she had to have while trying to still love her sister. And like, I think I was thinking about us in the squad because a lot of people reach out to us, and even in our own personal lives is like, we want to be helpers, but where do you draw the line when somebody's in active addiction? And we even got a question like the other day when you sent those screenshots. Somebody asked, what about a partner who still drinks or a friend who still drinks? And so I just wanted to extend that as a resource to everybody that I'm listening to. I think it's called We Can Do Hard Things, but it's Glennon Doyle's podcast. Cool. And her sister just said something really powerful about, I can't love you into rehab. I can't force you into rehab. I can't ultimatum you into rehab. I just have to love you the way that I can with very strong, healthy boundaries. And I thought that was a really good answer because even I catch myself thinking like, oh, if so-and-so in my life, you know, maybe has a drinking problem. Like, how can I support them to get sober? And it's like, I can't support them to get sober. I can just love them. And, you know, that's difficult. Hard, but it's hard because it's like, I can see the benefits of being on the other side, but maybe that's not their jam.
I mean, hi.
Yeah.
I get that.
Totally.
Oh, yeah. That's cool. Yeah. It's funny that you mentioned that because we toy with the idea of having our sisters on or whatever. I don't know, like, did your sister, you have 2 sisters, right? Did they see you when you were actively like pretty much in your like drinking hole or not really? Because you lived further away, right?
I think I kept it.
My sister saw it a little bit.
I thought I kept it well, like hidden. But I know my little sister probably has seen more than my older sister, for sure.
Well, she lives near us, right?
But like, we're closer in age, so we would hang out with the same groups of people sometimes. So I think, I don't know. Like, I don't know if they ever knew how bad it got. Like, I was pretty hidden about that to the groups of people I wanted to keep that side of myself hidden to, or so I thought. Like, who fucking knows? Maybe they were all like, yeah, you were a fucking mess. But,
yeah. I feel like mine probably knew mostly because of my Instagram stories or photos or whatever. And then, because I also like wouldn't really drink it like with my family.
Right.
I would drink here and there at like a barbecue or something like that. But for the most part, obviously you don't want your family to know that you have a drinking problem. Well, hang on. If you
don't drink like you want to drink around your family.
Exactly. But also if you think about it in hindsight, like maybe that should tip you off that maybe you don't drink normally if you're like amending how you drink around your family.
I don't think I ever thought of it that way. Did you? I was never like, I must have a drinking problem. And I was just like, no, don't get fucking hammered in front of your family because you'll probably rage at them.
Yeah, I was thinking more like, because alcoholism runs in your family, don't get like super drunk because you don't want them to think you have a drinking problem rather than.
That's true. Yeah, I guess.
Being like, I have a drinking problem.
My dad always used to warn me, like, your grandfather was an alcoholic. And I'd be like, I didn't know that was like hereditary. Also, it's like, good for him. Sucks for that dude, you know?
Yeah, there was definitely a few times that I know I got drunk. I know when I went on a family vacation, this was like 9 or 10 years ago, I got blackout drunk and passed out and stuff. We went to Mexico for my sister's sweet 16. I've mentioned this story before. Yeah, that was probably like the most eye-opening for them because like that was kind of a regular occurrence for me, but they had never seen it. So yeah. And now my little sister works in addiction. She works, I'm not even going to shout out the company because she just left there, not on bad terms or anything like that, but it's for like youth prevention of addiction.
You should have her on. I feel like she probably has good
It's called Hope for
insight.
Youth, actually. Like you can totally follow them. They're great. But she's just, moving on to like the next step because she's trying to become I think drug and alcohol counselor or she goes for psychology. So maybe a therapist that deals with that specifically. So she just started a new job, but it obviously like, I never asked her if it's like, is it because of our aunt? Is it because of me? Is it because of like what made you choose that field? But I'm sure it's a lot of family members just being drunk. But anyway,
she should come on. So what's going on with you? Tell me all the things.
There's not like
thumbs
all
up,
the
thumbs down. Where are you at?
So I had my 1,000 days sober, which was nice and fun. And then I'm coming up in a few months, in like 2 or 3 months, I'll be 3 years sober.
Yeah.
And I wanted to ask you, is 3 years, when you hit 3 years, is that when you were like having a hard time?
Yeah. Like mega hard.
Yeah.
3 to 4 was hard.
That's what I'm like, feel like I'm going through now. I went to Mexico and there was like
oh my God, did you have the drink?
No, I didn't.
Okay.
I didn't. And it was
Did you want to?
Yes.
Ooh.
Everything was going wrong.
Uh-oh.
Literally everything that could have went wrong on this trip. And obviously it was all inclusive, blah, blah, blah. But it rained, it stormed the whole time. And they just push you to go to the bar, like, oh, your room's not ready, but you can go to the bar. It's like, fuck, like, no, I can't. And then like you go in, there's like a welcome bottle of tequila, welcome bottle of champagne, yada, yada, whatever. But there was just like, because I was already having those feelings, like I want a margarita on my trip. And then everything starts going wrong, right?
Right.
And then we were supposed to go to this dinner thing, and the transportation just never picked us up. They did not show up. And so I'm like pissed. And that moment was like the most, where I'm like, I want a fucking drink right now. I was upset and I was mad and I was just defeated and I just wanted a drink. And
you wanted something
I
comforting.
And then I quickly, I ran the tape through real quick. I was just like, okay, this would be a coping mechanism. It wouldn't be like you're just trying to enjoy it. And I like said to Cam out loud, I was like, I want a fucking drink. I've never wanted a drink so fucking bad in my life. And she's like, well, if you have one, I won't judge you. And I'm like, no, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it, but I want one. So it was like pretty difficult here and there, but I have to say, like, one of the maybe like the next day or 2 days later or something, we extended our trip, by the way, because the day we were supposed to like go home, it was sunny.
Nice out. Yeah.
Like, are you fucking kidding me? But anyway, so at the restaurant, I ordered a margarita, obviously virgin. And it's funny because Cameron was actually in the bathroom when they brought my drink over, and I took a sip and it was tequila. No. And honestly, it was gross to me. So I was actually pretty good, because then it like made me realize I'm not missing anything. And obviously I just had the one sip and I was like, this is supposed to be virgin. He's like, oh, so sorry. I'm like, it's fine, whatever. But honestly, like it was kind of a happy accident, because like that one sip that I took was like, oh yeah, no, like I had been romanticizing it the whole time.
How good it would taste. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm actually really happy in a way that happened, because it reset me. And I didn't like have to get drunk or anything like that. And again, it's not a good thing that happened, that someone brings you a booze. Because also, like, what if I was like, well, fuck it? Because like that's the mentality that I'm sure people have. Like, someone puts booze in front of you, like, well, fuck it. And especially when you're having like a bad time or whatever. But no, it was actually kind of nice that it like reset my mind. I'm like, oh yeah, like, no, you're fine. You don't miss this. And then I didn't have a problem with FOMO or anything like that.
Do you have any wisdom for us for 1,000 days?
No.
Shut up. You've learned a lot.
I just feel like my 1,000 day came when I'm in a slump. You know what I mean?
I'm trying to drink this as quietly as possible. I have like ice.
Oh, you're fine. I can't hear anything. It's nice because this new headset that you got for me has a mute button. So when I take a sip, I just hit the mute button, and you can't hear it, but in my head, it really loud. It goes, mute on. I'm like, okay. And then I hit it up, mute off.
That's kind of nice.
Yeah. Any words of wisdom? I don't know. I feel like maybe next month I will, but I feel like I'm in such like a weird space right now that I don't know, because I was struggling. So it's like, how am I, someone who's struggling, able to give words of wisdom?
Yeah.
But I mean, I guess that's part of it, right?
I feel like just saying you're struggling is enough, though. That's wisdom, I think a lot of people think it's like amazing. Like once I get to the point, my life will be perfect. And I think that that's like a misconception. A lot of those questions that we got were like, I'm still having a hard time even though I'm sober. And it's like, I don't want to be like, duh, but it's just alcohol makes it worse. Like, I think the hard thing for me to learn was like, there's no like golden ticket. There's like, you're still going to have shitty days. They're just like less dramatic. It's just like, fuck, today sucked.
Yeah. The like consequences are not as like detrimental,
because you don't create like fucking chaos after a bad day. Like I would turn.
You don't get DUIs. You don't like break friendships or whatever, or just like break plates. I don't
like
know.
now you go home and watch like 90 Day Fiance, where like before I would have a bad day and like lose my wallet and then fucking, you know, like I would just create so much drama for myself from a bad 100%. Day of work versus like I went home and I ordered takeout and I like sadly went to bed.
Yeah. Like your worst day sober. I know people say my worst day sober is still better than my best day drinking. And I don't agree with that.
Okay.
Because I had some good times drinking and not every time ended in like fucking handcuffs or whatever. But your worst day sober really is, in hindsight, like not that bad. Think about your worst day like sober. And then you're like medium day drinking. Awful for us. If you drank like me, like a medium day drinking was not good. Like,
no.
Like a light day drinking, okay, fine. But that doesn't like happen that much. Yeah. So
good
point is, it's not that bad. It's just that you're going through the motion.
Could
like
be
you're
that
feeling
bad,
the feelings.
but it'll pass, I guess, is the other thing.
Yeah. And you're like feeling the feelings that you were not feeling.
Yeah.
And that's why it's so bad, because you're not
still get into the
out.
like, why me headspace. I'm like, I'm doing everything right. I'm sober. Yes. I'm working so hard. Like, why is this bad? Why am I still feeling this way? Which I think is normal. Unfortunately.
It is 100% normal.
So, well, I'm glad you had fun on vacation. I forgot that you were going. Well, actually, I didn't forget that you were going, but I forgot about the temptation part of it.
Yeah.
I'm glad you didn't.
Well, I
drink.
also didn't like post really when I was gone because it was like raining the whole fucking time. But yeah, so just it's some days, most days are going to be fine. And then you'll have some days where you struggle, and that's just how it is. But you get past it because you deal with the feelings rather than suppressing them for a later date.
That's true. Very true.
That's the thing, is like we're just dealing now with all of the things that we like drank down.
Jess, what's our number one piece of advice when people are getting sober?
Therapy. So
much therapy that I'm going to school to be a giver of therapy.
This is true.
BetterHelp reached out to partner with us at the Seltzer Squad to offer 10% off a monthly membership to BetterHelp.com.
What is BetterHelp.com?
BetterHelp is an online therapy platform that is for individuals, for couples. You take a short quiz, you get matched up with a mental health professional, and you, through the app, are able to video, or you can just message back and forth with a licensed professional to give you counseling and guidance on anything and everything that you're going through.
So how do our listeners use our code?
You just go to betterhelp.com/Seltzer Squad and you'll receive 10% off your first month. Jess, are you listening to any good books?
Right now, I'm actually listening to an Audible exclusive podcast.
Ooh. I'm listening to Blackout by Sarah Hepola.
Oh, I listened to that one back in the day.
I mean, I'm a huge proponent of Audible. I love listening to Quit Lit or really any book. But did you know, Squad, that you can use our discount code to get a free month of Audible? Meaning you get a free book if you sign up?
That's right. Just go to audibletrial.com/Seltzer Squad and get a free month on us. I actually just signed up myself using it. Like, it's like, oh, here's this like ugly present for sober Jess to have to deal with because I didn't deal with any of this shit when I was drinking. So
weirdly, I'm having an easier time about communicating my feelings more directly than I've ever had in sobriety. Like, especially within my family, like
boundary wise,
or just like being more direct about things that have hurt my feelings that before I used to drink to cope with. Now I'm like more like that. I'm a little bummed out that this happened, and I'm like more direct and I'm not blaming. Like, for example, my little sister's moving away and I'm really like, probably more upset that I'm like letting myself be because I know this is the right thing for her. But her and my dad are really close, and like originally she was going to rent like a trailer and they were going to drive back. And I was like a little annoyed that I wasn't asked because I think I'm a good choice to like be asked on the road trip.
Yeah.
And so I was like,
where is she moving to?
She's moving back to where my older sister lives. And I didn't really say anything about it, but the other night, like we were hanging out and I was like, I gotta say, like, I'm a little bummed you didn't, like, I wasn't one of your choices. But I think even like I said it in like a self-deprecating, like a joking way, obviously, because I didn't want to start a fight, but I'm even proud of myself to be able to bring those things up. Whereas before I would just like harbor a little bit of resentment and like even to my dad, you know, I was like,
hold a grudge.
I'm bummed out that she picked you over me, even though like I'm a way more fun road trip friend. And I can frame it with like humor, right? But it's like at least I'm able to be a little bit more honest about how I was feeling than beforehand, where I would have like rather died than bring up that it made me feel left out or admit that. You know? And like, of course I don't ultimately really care, but in the moment it's like, oh, well, you know, why didn't she want to pick? Why didn't she want to go with me? You know, and I don't think that was like. Normal. I don't think she was like, I don't want to go with Kate. I think it was just, you know, probably not on her radar. But I'm just proud of myself.
You have like a job. Your dad might be retired.
Yes.
Like, there's like factors that we don't think about in the moment because we're just like, oh, the fuck.
What about me? Yeah.
Yeah.
So I've noticed that like even at work, you know, I've just been in a nice like, as respectful as I can way, just kind of like saying things as they are through my lens. Like, it's really shitty that you're giving this to me now and it's due in 45 minutes. I just want to point that out. Whereas before I'd be like, okay, I'll get this done. You know, now I'm at least sort of pointing out like what's not necessarily fair to me in the situation. So I would say 5 years later, really speaking my truth.
I was just going to say, this is not the Kate from episode 1 that is no longer available in iTunes. So
she died.
Go to Spotify and find that episode.
So I don't know. That's awesome. It's interesting.
I'm so proud of you. That's so good. That's like a form of self-care in its own. Oh, that's so good.
Yeah.
And then some people will think you're a bitch and it's like, no, I'm just like...
And the other interesting thing is like, I normally I still very deeply care on some level about what people think, but I've been very good at shutting off. What people are saying about me behind my back is none of my business. And there's no point in ruminating over like the millions of possibilities of what that could be. Like, because then it'll be like, oh, I bet they think my shoes are dumb. And then it'll like go further down the road to like, I'm dumb. My roots need to be, you know what I mean? And then you'll manifest this like whole negative self-talk where I'm like, I don't need to care what people are saying about me if I'm not in the room anymore. Like it's not really helpful to me, especially because it could
I'd like to get to that point at some point.
But, you know, I'm trying to like let that part go. I think I don't know. I'm in a weird place. Like I'm in a peaceful place. I think this is peace, but we have a hard time with it, you know? Like
we always have a hard time with peace. That's normal.
So the big news that I don't know if I'll ever be able to share, but I'll just share it anyway because who the fuck knows or cares anymore about what's going on. So a lot of our friends don't even know this, but we are
Oops.
We are looking to move into a house. So TJ and I have been house shopping. Obviously, Jess, you've been along for the journey, and we were supposed to like have all the paperwork signed. We were supposed to have the keys in hand, and we're still working some things out. And it's like,
it's always a pain in the ass though.
I'm like a very impatient person, and the fact that there's no timelines attached to this is very uncomfortable. Like, you're just like waiting.
That would drive me crazy too.
Yeah, you're just waiting, and
you can't like do anything. You're like in limbo. Like I don't want to like start packing in case this falls through, but also
or
like,
buy anything because you don't want to waste your time.
Yeah, it's just that's so frustrating.
It's forced me to like settle down a little bit.
Not in control.
Realize that I'm not in control, but like also like, why don't you just sit here and take 20 minutes and take a nap? Like things I never, ever used to do because I genuinely don't have anything to do besides like work right now. There's no school. So obviously work takes up a lot of time, but in my, like over the weekend, it was like, I got to drink coffee outside in my backyard and like, look at my plants and get like a little bit of joy out of things. And I was, you know, texting with a girlfriend. I'm like, I just feel uncomfortable, but I also know that this is what contentment is supposed to feel like.
Yeah.
That I'm
you
supposed
don't have
to like
be go all the time.
Enjoying. And something that I realized and found myself doing was migrating to social media to like spend endless amount of hours and time and then feeling like a little like bankrupt of self-care. And so it made me think of like the interview that we had with Omar, where it's like, what are those personal boundaries that you're setting for yourself so that you can feel good? It's like, I have free time. I should not be spending it fucking aimlessly scrolling on social media because I don't get anything out of that.
It's funny that you say that because I do the same thing, obviously. And I'll be on social and I'll see like, I don't know, let's just take my one little sister who lives in the city, for example. She's always doing stuff. She does shit by herself all the time. She'll take herself to museums, to the park, to this, to like Governor's Island, to whatever. And she, you know, I see from her stories. But my point is that I'm like on social media being like, oh man, I want to like do these things. And then I'm like, bitch, put some clothes on and
leave your fucking house.
Go fucking do it.
Yes.
Like, I'm like just like acting like a little FOMO princess rather than being like, you can do that. It's
like
all
I realize
there.
like I'm the barrier from me having like, I'm like, I feel like I need to journal. It's like, bitch, get a notebook out. Like, what are you fucking, why are you even thinking this way? So it's been kind of a, I don't want to say it's been a blessing, but like, it's just been interesting. Like I was telling you, so I graduated from college. Yay, everybody, I graduated. My classmate texted me and was like, are you at graduation? And I was like, oh, I graduated today. Oh, it happened. Okay, great. I am happy to report that I had my grad school interview and I was accepted into the program and I am registered for fall classes. And so I was like, I graduated.
Wait, has it been 4 years now since you did this? No, 2 years, right?
It was a year and a half, but I had all these other credits to get like my psychology bachelor's. So I just had to take like 10 classes, I think. So I finished the 10 classes, got the 4-year mark to then apply to grad school. So I applied to grad school and I had my interview and it was amazing. And I feel like more than ever, I was like so excited to be talking to them. We were talking about the course content. Like I'm like jazzed about school. So, you know, I cue to what I was talking to you about the other night where I was like, I want to buy a Vespa and everyone tells me this is a terrible idea. Like that's the number one thing out of people's mouth is like, besides TJ co-signs like anything that we want to buy because he loves to shop. He's like, let's do it. So everyone else is like,
why are people telling you it's a terrible idea?
Well, because it's so dangerous, Jess. I don't know.
It's
know.
not.
I'm like,
it's not. I used to have a Vespa.
Right.
And I mean, my anxiety, I couldn't do it because my anxiety, I had like no, what's the word? Like practice really with it. Honestly, this is going to sound stupid, but I'm so short that it was really hard for me to like
balance the bike,
idle or whatever when you're at like the stop sign or like the light, because I'm so short. Because every time I'd have to go like this, and then it was harder for me to get back up. So I had all of my anxieties about like the people behind me are waiting. Like I don't want to get beeped at. And then because I'm like, again, so tattooed, like people like look at me, like just like all my anxieties. Again, this is years ago, so I remember who knows what I'd be like now. So it just wasn't for me. But you should talk to Steph. She has a Vespa.
Okay, I was like, I remember her having one also, and I didn't know if she still had it or not. Yeah, so
she loves it. She can give you tips and stuff. She drives all the way to New Jersey with it. It's just not for me, especially as a short person.
Like,
but I think you'll have fun with it.
On the one hand, I've never really bought myself anything frivolous. Like, this would be like the sober treat, right? Like, so on the one hand, it's like
it's also like a very like purposeful item. Like you will use it, and it's like better for the environment than like taking your car if you're driving a half hour or whatever. So there's plenty of reasons why you should get one. And then at the end of the day, if you're like me and decide, I made a mistake, fucking sell it. It's fine. You're not going to lose that much money. So
I think too, like this is I'm thinking about it as something that to me seems like an element of fun that in my sober life I no longer have. That like exciting sort of adrenaline rush fun that we don't get. And so I feel like part of me is, so Vespa Brooklyn has a YouTube channel and they like interview a bunch of riders, and there are these really like amazing older ladies that like have been Vespa riders for years, and I found them so inspiring. And I was like, they genuinely have so much fun that I don't have very much fun in my day-to-day life. And so I guess I'm sort of, maybe I'm like looking for excuses or like validation from other people.
Yeah,
but
it sounds like you're
I don't know.
seeking the approval of others,
Yeah.
and you don't need that. I back it. Talk to Steph.
Yeah.
She 100% will back it. I think you'll like it. I think it'll be good for you. And again, at the end of the day, if you don't want it, then you can just sell it. It's fine.
Yeah. I think it's just about practicing and getting comfortable. And once I get know the bike and feel secure on it, like I'm a very good defensive driver, so I'm not really worried about that. But
yeah,
I'm looking forward to that.
Take it you'll be fine.
Because like you said, I'm looking at all these people doing things, and I'm like, what's preventing me from doing things? And it feels like sometimes the subway is exhausting to think about navigating, and then if you want to drive, you're worried about parking.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm
Are you going to get 150 cc or the 300?
The 300, so I can rip anywhere.
Yeah, because then you can actually take it places.
Yeah,
it's funny because when I went to pick it up, it was in Bayonne. I had Grundle come with me.
Yeah.
And then I was too scared to drive it home.
Right.
So I'm like, can you drive it home for me? So I had Grundle, our friend Grundle, drive it back for me. And
I also think I need to push myself a little bit out of my comfort zone of the anxiety, because it's like,
wait, what color are you getting? Very important question.
White.
Nice. I like that. I wanted pink. I got orange because that's just I got mine used.
Obviously white.
But
I have a white helmet because I wear so much black.
Yes. No, it's going to be so cute. I can just picture Kate, I don't know. I'm picturing you in Italy on your Vespa.
Yeah. I'm
a little scarf, a kerchief off your neck. Neck kerchief,
so
whatever.
Maybe I'll do an Instagram live. I won't. But
don't do an Instagram live. That's dangerous.
No, of course not. But I'll try to post a story, because I feel like we've gone dormant on social media, and
I know it's just there's nothing going on. So
yeah. But how's your sobriety going otherwise? Good.
We already went into all that. We're good. I think we're caught up.
You feel caught up?
I don't have anything.
I'm trying
good
to think
to
if
say.
I have anything funny to say or anything. No, that's it. That's all that's going on. I'm in a holding pattern for good things.
You guys are all caught up.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, when do you get your Vespa?
Well, I don't know, because technically you can't really spend any money if you're trying to buy a house. So.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you're not supposed to make any large purchases because it can mess up your credit. So.
Oh my fucking God.
All these things are dependent on one another. I don't know.
This is so stupid. Okay, so you get the house first and then you get the Vespa.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, everyone send Kate good house
safe
Vespa
driving vibes.
Yeah.
Anybody else that has one, send me tips and tricks. I want to know. I'm obsessed with learning about them now, of course.
I want them to send us pictures of theirs.
Yes.
And send us, DM us pictures of your Vespa and what her name is.
Yes. Yeah.
Right?
I love that.
Why not? Extra points if you have a Seltzer Squad shirt or merch and have that in the photo, because we will 100% repost that shit.
But I just want to see anyway. Give me your give me your tips and tricks.
I'll try to find a photo of mine also.
Yes.
And see if I can
couldn't remember.
it.
I knew you sold it, right?
Yeah.
That's what I thought.
I don't know if you remember Jackie Rodriguez.
Yes. Okay. I thought that you sold it to Steph, honestly. And I was like, I don't remember if Steph ever had got rid of it.
No, Steph is my friend, who, for anyone who doesn't know. But what sucks is that she actually bought a Vespa, and this is when she still lived in Jersey City and then moved to Brooklyn with me. And then she went to go pick it up and it had been stolen.
Did she get a new one?
This is when she lived with Allie.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Someone had stolen it and then they found it in an impound yard or something. It was some crazy shit. But then she just got another one.
Okay. Yeah, I'll text her. I didn't know she still had it. I'll definitely text her then.
Loves her Vespa.
Okay,
so
good.
Definitely talk to her about it. And any Vespa squaddies.
Yeah, if there's any scooter gangs I can join, let me know.
She was a skater girl.
Yeah.
She said, see ya. Something. All right. Well, until we meet again.
Forever ago. Be nice to yourself.
Be nice to yourself. Don't forget.
Hangovers
suck.
Thanks for listening. Don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe to this podcast. Every review helps other listeners find us. Music by Dead Go West. Art by Kate Sander. For show notes and resources, check out seltzersquad.com.